Oh, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Humble here, coming back at you with part 7 of What If Naruto Been in Konoha, otherwise known as Slashed, a Naruto fan fiction on Wattpad. And listen, just a few things to go over here. First and foremost, we hit 400 yesterday, which is a really big milestone, so thank you guys very much. I guess we're working towards 500 now, but I'm not really too, I would like it, but I'm not really too focused. We've been growing very fast, so, it's fine. It's okay if we take our time with this one. Next thing on the agenda is Discord. I have the Discord link in the description if you want to join. We have some really good people. We have some really good fun over there, and got some great, people who set the server up. I'm kind of newer to Discord. I've never really used a server or made a server before, so I had to have some help. So you know who you are, but shout out to you for helping out with that. And then I think this is going to be lastly, but like, comment, and subscribe. I respond to all comments. I heart all comments. I like all comments. I really appreciate them, and I enjoy responding to you guys. So just in the spirit of keeping this one short-winded, Future Seth, cutie intro. Sneakily from tree to tree. He had to protect the Sanbi from getting captured by idiots, but at the same time he had to protect the humans. Who am I kidding? They aren't on my side. I don't need to protect them. Naruto grinned as he saw the pathetic kitty nin fail to even lay a scratch on the mighty Sanbi. Naruto quickly disappeared in a fast speed. Put more effort! The commander yelled as they all kept throwing their weapons in hopes of damaging the Biju. They all heard a sudden fit of laughter. Man, Kitty is pathetic with their ninjas, huh? Naruto laughed as he appeared on top of the Biju, his Sharingan spinning rapidly. In Uchiha, this was the last words circulating through their heads. Who are you? Why are you here? The commander yelled at him. Me? I'm on a mission. Naruto threw four kunai down and they all dodged with ease. A mission to do what? Naruto looked down on them as he said, to show Kiri why they chose the wrong side. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of leaves and then he appeared behind one of them. Behind you! Another nin yelled out. Too late, Naruto said as he plunged his kunai on the man's throat. He felt a small breeze behind him and quickly dug down. Naruto looked up and saw an arm that would have hit him if he didn't dodge. Then he brought his right foot and swept the man in a graceful manner. Sora! Naruto looked at the man who was slowly rising up. Within a split second, Naruto used Sora as a trampoline and jumped off of his own. Making Sora fall back down, Naruto glided through the endless shuriken getting thrown towards him. Futile effort. Naruto kicked one of the men in the face, to the next one. Naruto mused as he jumped off the head of one of the minions in the air that he kicked. A kunai was thrown towards him, and he caught it in the air with ease mid-air. He then redirected it towards the person that threw it at him. Naruto scanned his 2-meter vicinity. 2 more. He then summoned 2 shadow clones and swung one to the right and one to the left. Naruto landed safely on the ground as he heard noises. He then picked up a damaged kunai and charged towards the commander. Within a split second, Naruto disappeared and quickly appeared in front of the commander. Can you live without your 2 lungs? Naruto motioned towards the commander's left lung. Ah, get away! He tried scurrying away, but to no avail. Naruto made a slick motion and impaled the man's lungs, as he then quickly turned his eyes over to the Sanbi. His eyes turned into the Mangekyo, and the bloody eyes of his stared into the very soul of the Sanbi. It's time for us to talk, and they were quickly pulled into a mindscape. Naruto appeared laying on the imaginary water below him. His eyes stared into the black abyss above him. The water started to ripple as he heard ruckus from behind. Looking at his side, Naruto saw the Sanbi sitting up, and then curled his mouth into a smile. Looks like I did it successfully. As his eyes reflected the Sanbis. A Jinchuriki showing their face in front of an almighty entity. Naruto held a nervous smile as killing intent was sent towards him. You know you could charge towards me and try and kill me. Naruto calmly said as he stood up on his 2 feet, and he stretched his arms as the Sanbi got closer. Why are you here? The Sanbi's voice echoed throughout the endless abyss. Naruto held his hands up. Stop, I mean no harm. Naruto quickly jumped back meters away from the Biju. Then answer me. Naruto got blown back, and once he landed back down, He rubbed his head and started to get a headache. What the hell? I just want to talk. Nothing more, nothing less, said Naruto as he stood up in a more defiant posture. Smile on his face. Oh wait, then tell me what you want to talk about. Naruto quickly nodded as he had a nervous smile on his face. I wonder why Kiri were trying to attack you. Naruto was asking in a simple manner, and he heard a growl from the Sanbi. You waste my time, then have been attacking me because I've been... they've been attacking me because I've been intervening with their trades. Sorry, this huge lake has limited fish that can fill me up, but the resources that are being delivered are more substantial. The Sanbi told him. Their ninjas always go through this route because unlike all the other routes in Kiri, there are shortcuts that are less dangerous than going in the woods. The Sanbi suddenly burst out laughing. But you know what they say, shortcuts are not trustworthy. I came in and took all their items. Naruto nodded. Why are you going to Kirigakure? You don't seem to be a Kiri nin. Naruto had a raised eyebrow as he got the sudden question. Well, I'm here on a mission. Konoha has recently learned that Kiri could be siding with Kumo and Iwa in the war, but to be honest, I didn't want myself to get involved in this war. Naruto chuckled. Then why are you carrying out the mission? Naruto slightly smiled. I know that Biju learned to hate humans. Naruto stared upwards into the black abyss. But in this tiny world, there are some good people too. However, I'm carrying out this mission because that cursed village saved me from dying from my own jutsu. You make it sound like you aren't affiliated with this village, said the Sanbi as it locked eyes with Naruto. Yes, well, that is because I'm not. Naruto responded, 4 years ago, I became a rogue nin. I used to be a Konoha nin. A genin, actually. It was fun being an enslaved ninja. Naruto chuckled at the last bit. Why did you become a rogue nin? The Sanbi asked in a menacing voice. Some people that witnessed me defeat your fellow Biju, the Tanuki, may have believed that I left because of Sasuke taking all the credit for defeating the Tanuki. However, that's petty reasoning. Naruto looked down into the water and saw his reflection. But I guess you could say I was enlightened. It was not just hate that was going through my head, like Gaara, the Tanuki Jinchuriki, because he also had hatred. Naruto said as he saw his own reflection. I heard what people said in Konoha. I didn't think simple-minded civilians could be so cruel with the things that they said and spread. The monster should just kill himself. Why was he even born? No wonder his parents are no longer alive. This thing's gonna bug me. Alright, there we go, I fixed it. I guess that's what made me understand that no one's equal in this world. I know I should have learned that earlier, but I was simply too naive. Naruto stretched once more. I guess that's it. I have to go. Before you go, do you believe that you're a good person? Naruto raised an eyebrow. Some may say that they're good because they're fighting in what they believe in. But if that's the case, then over half of the ninjas in the nations would be considered good. However, I still have the belief as what I had when I was young. Only when a person has something to protect is when they can truly become strong. Naruto felt a sense of nostalgia saying this. Naruto stood where he was before. All the bodies that Naruto killed were laying on the ground in an unresponsive manner. He sighed and continued walking, leaving the Sanbi to its business. A soft smirk crept onto Naruto's face as he ascended deeper into Konoha. Kiri. Sorry about that interruption. I got a phone call talking about a car warranty, which is not me. It's not my business. So it interrupted the screen recording. We're just gonna continue from where I was, alright? Sorry about that. A town. Naruto has been walking for over an hour with no sense of direction. The town was quite small, but it definitely held the resources. Ramen that he was thirsting for. Looks like this place doesn't have any ninja. Naruto thought as he quietly entered the town unnoticed. He seemed like he wasn't recognized as a weirdo, even though I am a weirdo. Naruto walked through the town. Seconds later, he found a person selling samples of ramen. It was time for scheming. Naruto grinned as he slapped his hands together, and he walked towards the seller with his hands waving at him. Hello, can I ask you something? Naruto mentally grinned at his brilliant plan. Yeah, he replied with a joyful tone. Naruto almost felt bad for doing this to such a good man, but hey, He's already too deep in his plan. Do you know where the market is? The man nodded. The market's right around the corner. Just take a right and you'll see masses of people gathering. The man swung his head back and saw no one, looking at his stash of ramen. Oh, that little Naruto laughed at the man's unfortunate situation, but hey, he needed food. Oh, shoutouts to you then. Tell Trut was popping. Oh! Somebody asked me for a shout out. Damn. I think it was, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it was Prince Amir YT. Something like that. Sorry about that, bro. I genuinely forgot, but I just remembered from getting that comment. But yeah, so I hope I got it right, but shout out to you, I guess. Let's continue. I hit the spot, Naruto happily thought. He wiped his mouth and threw his ramen stash into the trash can. But as you know, fortunate things must come to an end. Where is the blondie? Naruto looked around the corner and saw Kirigakure. He widened his eyes and sighed, and pulled out a kunai from his holster and swing on a building top. Just by looking at them, they must be Jonin level. Naruto thought as he leveled up with his kunai to one of their heads. His arm swayed through the air and the kunai was thrown at a very fast speed. One person down, 4 more to go. Naruto disappeared from the current building and appeared on top of another building. The Kirigakure widened their eyes at the sudden event. Get into formation! One yelled, and they were all surrounding the injured man. Their hearts were beating at a fast rate. Knowing nothing about Naruto's current position, they were at a huge disadvantage. Their backs are turned with a huge opening in the middle. Naruto weaved a set of hand signs, fire release. Distorting flame. A huge flame that has swooped upon them had generated other flames that went to other directions. The 4 reacted quickly with a jutsu of their own. Water style, waterfall. Water upon water appeared from puddles around them. They all quickly distinguished the fire, creating steam. Naruto took advantage of this and jumped down in a silent manner, holding the kunai tightly in his hand. One by one, they met death's door. Blood spattered everywhere as the steam cleared away. All that was left was a pile of dead bodies in the middle of the road. People screaming in terror as they saw the bodies. While this was all happening, a laughing blonde was already outside the town. They can't beat the fox. Naruto continued walking to his final destination. And we're back. Alright then, well, let's continue. Naruto walked away from the piles of dead Kirigakure that stood against his way. It didn't have to be like that, but it did. Naruto lost track of the amount of people he had killed in the past few years. The first kill is the kill that any person should remember. He got ambushed by 2 Anbu that were very powerful, but in the end, Naruto managed to kill them. He didn't know where the Anbu were affiliated to, but he didn't care. For a day or two, Naruto bawled his eyes out. It was not a pretty sight. As he walked through the empty road, he could feel it. He was close to Kirigakure. This was no ordinary guess. He was sure of it. As he walked, a smirk was gracing Naruto's face as he heard villagers chatter away. Naruto made a cross with his hands and a few shadow clones popped out. Let's get to work. A few Kirigakure were posted at the edge of the Kirigakure town. The spear was on each and every one of their hands. They suddenly heard a rock roll in the ground. You heard that, boys? Something made a sound. They all tensed up and everyone slowly walked towards the direction of the noise. But out of nowhere, Naruto jumped onto the ground, body hitting for it. And then he exploded into red paint. The crimson paint splattered all over the Kirigakure. All but screams of anger were heard from the ninja. Little did they know the same thing was happening around the village. The village was in an outrageous situation. Naruto had just done one of his normal scandalous acts in public once more. As he was sitting on a stone tower, watching the chaos throughout the village unfold. Man, these villagers need to upgrade their security. Naruto bursted out in laughter. All he had to do was to execute his final plan, and then he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. He reappeared on top of a house. Naruto looked further into the beyond. Jumping from roof to roof, mist covered his tracks and locations. There has to be something similar to the Hokage Tower. What the fuck was that? Did y'all hear that? It sounded like a bee. Oh my gosh. I hope somebody heard that. That was... wow. That sounded like right next to my ear or something. It sounded like a bee. Sorry about that. Let's continue. Alright. Man, this village needs to upgrade its security. Naruto bursted out in laughter. All he had to do left now was to execute his final plan. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of leaves and he reappeared on top of a house. Naruto looked further into the beyond, jumping from roof to roof, mist covering his tracks and locations. There has to be something similar to the Hokage Tower, Naruto mused as he kept looking, and he sensed something, an eyebrow raised. There's a humongous amount of chakra signatures in one large area. Naruto leaped from roof to another and looked down. There was a lot of people complaining. Luckily, the mist was just thin enough to see who they were complaining to. So the Mizukage is here. Naruto thought as he disengaged. He had to be careful. Mei's ability to use her own style of boil release is extremely dangerous. He didn't want to be melted away. Naruto jumped into an alley and summoned a few shadow clones. Go find their resources and destroy as much as you can. Naruto ordered them. They all nodded and went in their own separate directions. Naruto walked back up to the building. As he continued to watch, he pulled out a kunai, and after a few seconds, he threw the kunai. The Mizukage was alerted just in the right time and caught it with ease. Mei widened her eyes and an explosive tag was attached at the bottom. Boom! A point-blank explosion washed over Mei's face, and debris flew all around the area. Smoke covered the area, and once the smoke cleared, the last thing Mei saw was a yellow flash. Naruto jumped from house to house, and he could sense it. She's following me. He didn't expect her to be able to track him so easily, but beggars can't be choosers. Naruto then suddenly saw something from his sides. Water. It's a water jutsu. Naruto jumped up into the air and managed to dodge the water bullets heading towards his direction, as he landed down with the mist lightly covering him. Who are you? Naruto caught sight of the Mizukage. He clenched his fist. Naruto didn't expect her to catch him so quickly, but he couldn't avoid this fight so easily. I had to fight this through. Naruto jumped on top of a tall, sturdy stone wall, using it as a stepping stone. Naruto jumped and dived down, entering freefall. Looking to his side, Naruto used his hand to grapple onto a tree. As he swung away, Naruto had his arms stretched out. A pair of kunai were launched towards Mei. She dodged a kunai with ease. You still haven't answered me. Naruto dodged an incoming attack from the infamous Mizukage as Naruto disappeared in the endless trees. I've come here to show the people of Kirigakure what happens when you side with the wrong people. But of course you should already know that. Naruto's voice throughout the forest rang in the chillest of tones. He jumped from tree to tree around Mei. All she could see was the scarlet eyes gliding. Naruto appeared behind her and delivered a kick to the abdomen. Mei flew away with the impact of the force. She quickly recovered from the pain and regained her footing. Naruto jumped back to gain distance. Sorry, but I'll be winning this fight. Naruto created 3 shadow clones right beside him. One of the clones started to form a Rasengan for Naruto. A blue sphere of chakra was formed on Naruto's arm. Naruto was then launched by the 2 shadow clones, and he was going in the air towards Mei, but she quickly countered with a punch and dodged. What? Mei widened her eyes as the Naruto she was looking at puffed into a cloud of smoke. You fell for the oldest trick in my book. Naruto appeared behind her with a Rasengan. He dodged an attack that was aimed for his head with the intent to defeat. Naruto slammed a blue ball of chakra into Mei. You will not be winning if you don't go all out, but even then I will still win. I won't lose to an accursed Uchiha. All of a sudden the vicinity grew hotter. Naruto widened his eyes and jumped further away. This is gonna be troublesome. Naruto thought as the corrosive gas almost melted him. Naruto managed to keep his range from Mei and came close with her deadly boil release. Naruto pulled out a kunai with an explosive tag, and he threw the kunai towards her, but his eyes widened as it melted away into nothingness. He gritted his teeth in annoyance. The battle's on her side now. Naruto suddenly got an idea. He jumped back to gain more distance to test his theory. Took a deep breath. What he was about to do could risk his life. His scarlet eyes spun rapidly as they turned into his Mangekyo. The features hardened as he appeared right in front of Mei. Naruto lodged a kunai into Mei's arm. Gah! She backed away as Naruto disappeared into the trees. It worked. There's just a couple of seconds before the boil release starts to take effect and ultimately melt you, but that was still dangerous. If Naruto keeps doing this, he would need to get to top speeds back and forth in an instant. If he's too slow, he'll melt away. Mei took out the lodged and melted kunai from her arm and threw it on the ground. Naruto appeared behind her with another kunai and slashed her. He then disappeared into the trees once more. He's taking advantage of how the boil release works. But luckily for Mei, she has a counter for this. The heat around her slowly started to become more hot. Naruto looked at Mei's eyes as he could feel his skin reacting to the heat around her. Naruto appeared on her side, widening his eyes. He quickly reacted and disappeared again. Damn, the heat is no joke. Naruto had a bad sweat buildup? You mean a bead of sweat buildup? Okay, whatever. You lose. Our power may be equal, but between us, my experience against you is far too vast. Mei said to Naruto as he gritted his teeth in anger, but suddenly an imaginary voice was pulling him towards a word. His Mangekyo Sharingan slowly dripped out of his right eye. Hypo! Mei felt the heat around her slowly disperse into the forest. Naruto appeared in front of her and delivered a painful kick to the side. Just before disappearing, Naruto felt extreme heat wash over his body. Naruto panted in pain. This new Mangekyo ability, it was able to nullify her Kekkei Genkai for a few seconds to get a damaging hit off, but just after, he received a backlash from it. It just clicked in his mind. I see, once I nullify Kekkei Genkai, it's still there, but it's just put to sleep. But this is where I'm confused. Does my body absorb it, or give me the backlash? Or was it because I was in the area where I was put to sleep? But one thing's for sure, the backlash was easily only a quarter of its power. How much does it damage my sight? Naruto had no time to think about it as he felt the heat slowly creep up behind him. Naruto barely managed to dodge as he was after just being snapped out of his thoughts. I don't know what you did there, but you're too dangerous to be kept alive. She started to rapidly blow out steam from her mouth. Naruto let his blood slide down his cheek as the boil release closed around him. Hypo! Excruciating pain appeared in his right eye, but Naruto quickly ignored it and appeared in front of Mei with his Mangekyo looking at her eyes. Sorry, but Naruto took out and held out 2 kunai on each hand and made a cut on her cheek and thighs. Naruto backed away from the vicinity. You're powerless against my visual prowess. He felt the heat wash over his body. One knee on the ground, the pain slowly subsided. So the latter was incorrect. Wait, what was the latter? So he doesn't receive the backlash, right? He absorbs it. Okay. Alright. Naruto felt pain rise from his face. His eyes widened as he met a fist, as he saw a fist meet his face that was delivered by Mei. His body hit a tree and Naruto groaned out of displeasure and regained his footing. By the time he got up, Mei was already in front of him, and she had a kunai in her hand. Naruto threw a punch out of instinct, but she dodged and lodged the kunai in his thigh. Gah! Naruto felt pain course through his thigh as he jumped away, but he was way too slow in his current state to dodge a kick to the stomach. Mid-air, Naruto took out a kunai. You grew overconfident after using that mysterious ability. That was your downfall. She held another kunai in front of Naruto's head. Naruto had his left hand on his thigh and his right hand on his right eye. But a smirk graced Naruto's lips. You think I lost? I've yet to lose. Then explain what happened the last few minutes. The kunai was now facing the top of Naruto's head. It was all your imagination. A voice appeared behind her, and Mei looked at her back and saw Naruto, completely uninjured from the beating he just took. She looked back and saw nothing but the ground. What? How? She'd been fooled by Genjutsu. Just before I cut you with my 4 kunai. The moment you looked into my eyes, you were trapped in my Genjutsu. She kneeled down in pain. Naruto had won the battle. While their gap in experience in the battle was vast, with Mei ahead of him, Naruto had the strategy in the end. Naruto looked towards the village. Your people are rescuing you. An old hag like you will need it. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of leaves and entered the vast forest of Kiri. Alright, bet. So that's the end of this chapter. I'm not going to continue this. Sorry for so many cuts. This part was like experimenting on my part, trying a couple different things, different techniques. So we're just gonna see how it goes. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if it was a little more entertaining, a little more engaging, who knows. But yeah, so I'm just gonna end this part off here. Like, comment, and subscribe. I respond to all comments. I heart all comments. I like all comments. I really do appreciate them. I appreciate all the love, and I appreciate all the new people that have come to the channel. We're on the road to 500 now, I guess. Not even I guess, but yeah, we're on the road to 500 now. So let's hit 500. And yeah, without further ado, this is your boy, the Anime Abu, and I am out. Deuces.